Okay, you guys, welcome back to our third task. Don't mind that I sound like a man, it's fine. And I look like a hot mess, and you probably can't see my eyeballs because of my glasses. Whatever. Okay, so this week's task is really simple. And it may not be simple to implement as far as stubborn children, but it's a simple thing to implement, and it really makes a big difference in them being healthy, them having energy, them eating well. And you've already kind of implemented this, and we're just going to take it a step further. So the task for this week is to, oh my gosh, you guys, it's driving me nuts. Whatever. The task for this week is to implement vegetables at every single meal. Okay, so you've done fruits and veggies as snacks. Now you're gonna implement vegetables at every meal, and that's it. Okay, we're gonna do more meal stuff next week, but I want to ease you into it. And so that's what I want to emphasize this week, is simply just adding vegetables to every meal. Once again, let them pick them out, make it easy for them to want to eat them, let them have dips to dip it in. I don't care what you do, get them to eat their vegetables. And what I would recommend, if they really don't like vegetables, do not give them their main course until they've eaten their vegetables, because if you have a stubborn child and you give them vegetables with their normal meal and they're not used to eating vegetables, they're not going to eat them and they're gonna battle you on it. So remember, they won't stay full by eating fruits and vegetables. So if you implement the, hey, you need to eat this first, then you can have the rest of your meal, they're more likely to give in because they're hungry, and they'll eat their vegetables. Doesn't need to be a ton, you guys. I'm talking like 5 carrots, like 5 slices of cucumber. Like, ease into it if you need to, but do that first, and then when they've eaten that, then give them the rest of their meal, because like I said, they will not get full on the vegetables, especially a small amount. They'll digest it very quickly. They'll be hungry, and they're more likely going to eat the vegetables to get to their main course versus you giving them vegetables with their main course. So you're gonna probably have some resistance, especially if they already don't like vegetables, but once again, you're the parent. They will not starve. They can go on hunger strikes, but children typically will not go. In fact, I don't know any child that's actually gone 24 hours without eating. So they may miss dinner. They may be stubborn, and they may sit at the table and not eat, and they may go to bed hungry, but I promise you, your kids will eat. They're not going to starve to death. But the rule at our house is they have to have vegetables at every meal. They actually have to eat everything on their plate. They will not have any sort of treats at all if they don't eat everything on their plate. And we'll talk more about that next week as far as like portion sizes and eating everything on their plate, but they do not get snacks if they don't eat their meals. So especially like dinner time, I'm not gonna let them have a dessert or a snack after if they're not going to eat. So if they eat their dinner or they don't eat at all. And I know some people are against that, but this is how we broke down our picky eating children, because once again, they're very strong-willed and they will hold out as long as possible to get their way. And it's your job to be the parent. Now, the reason vegetables are so important, you guys, is they have a huge part in feeding our cells. We've talked about that. They're very rich in vitamins and minerals. They're rich in fiber. Fiber is what makes your kids poop. But it's also just really important for you to understand that like vegetables are really, really a source of preventative health, if you will. There's a lot of pre and probiotics in them, which is huge for your gut health. Like, our guts are just destroyed nowadays with stuff that's in food. We don't even need to go into detail, but I think most people know that their gut is jacked up, and vegetables naturally have pre and probiotics in them, so do fruits. But that's going to make sure that the food that they're eating, I honestly don't care if you feed them macaroni and cheese, especially this week, while you're implementing vegetables, but they need the fiber from those vegetables to help them digest the food that they're eating. So if your kid struggles with digestive issues, fiber is most likely missing, and they're most likely not eating fruits and vegetables. So The reason you eat vegetables at every meal is to help digest that food, and it will also give them energy. It will make them feel good. Remember, our cells are fed on a cellular level. I cannot say that word, you guys, cellular level. And so we need to be eating the foods that are high in vitamins and minerals naturally so that those cells can function properly, and it impacts everything in our bodies. And so vegetables are just another thing to implement, especially at mealtime, to make sure that our kids' bodies are functioning properly. So you now have eliminated sugar snacks and replace them with fruits and vegetables. Now you're adding in vegetables at every meal. They'll get enough fruits in, most likely they'll pick fruits for their snacks. So implementing vegetables at every meal is going to help make sure they get those veggies in and help digest the food that they eat at those meal times. So that is your task for this week. Simply add in some vegetables. Like I said, I'm not talking like huge servings, you guys. We do 10 carrots, 10 grape tomatoes, 10 slices of cucumbers. I don't care. They just need a combo of 10, and sometimes they'll just pick and do like a mix and match. So you can pick the serving size. If they're really anti-vegetables, I would ease them into it and maybe do 5. Provide dips, like I said, ranch or hummus, things like that, where kids love to dip. So if they're getting the vegetables in, they'll be good to go. So that's your task for this week. Seriously, it's simple. You may come up against some strong-willed kids, but I promise you this will make a huge difference in their pickiness, because remember, we have cravings. I don't know if I've really talked about this, but we have cravings and stuff when our body is not properly nourished. And so your kids will crave a lot of crap if they're eating a lot of crap, because their body is not being fed the nourishment that it needs. And so naturally, you'll have more cravings. So as you start to feed their cells what they need, they won't crave as much junk food as they did before. So that's also why we're doing it. So lots of reasons. Excuse me. As always, I will post some articles that help you understand more of how important vegetables are, and why they're important to get in with your kids' meal plan. So that's it. Comment below if you're ready for this week's challenge and if you're gonna implement it, so I can know that you're still in this. And let me know if you have any questions, because I'm always here to help. But I will post throughout the week again, but that is your task for this week.